Hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So, last week I reviewed this little gem, okay? Well, unboxed it, the Bag of Dungeon by Gunpowder Studios, a fantasy adventure game. Okay, so in that video I mentioned I was going to do a follow-up where I was going to show a little bit of gameplay, which I'm going to do for you today. Also, I had a couple of comments, nice comments, off fellow fantasy adventure fans. Glenn, Justin, and I think Jimmy chipped in as well there, saying they'd be interested to see this one played. So without further ado, guys, let's drop down to the table, we'll have a look, we'll sort it out, I'll show you how it works, and I'll come back for a couple of final thoughts. Hi guys, welcome down to the table for this little demonstration of how this amazing little game plays, okay? So I'll just introduce you to the part and the pieces you can see. I'll show you some other stuff you need to know, and then I'll give you about 4 or 5 turns just to give you a little idea of how you play, and then maybe just add a couple of little nuances before we go back up top. Okay, so this is a fantasy adventure game. So all our heroes, I'm going today with the dwarf and the fighter. Also included is a healer and an elf. Okay, now what's nice straight off the bat with these guys, well, there's a lot of nice, but you notice here on this side we have Alendra, who is a female elf. On the reverse side we have Galhorn, who is a male elf. So straight away it's gender neutral, you can be male or female, which is really nice, you know, I mean, hey, why not? And then you'll see on the cards there's quite a lot of detail, but to be honest, it's all self-explanatory. Okay, so it tells you how many actions you have, what your combat ratio is. So that means that in a fight, the elf will roll 2 dice and add 1. Okay, he's got a special rule where he adds any 1 to any range or damage when using the bow. Next, we see lives. Okay, so we see 1, 2, 3, and on the 1 says solo. So as mentioned above, you can play this game solo. If you do, it's a slightly different set of rules, okay? So what you basically do is you would put a little cube on there for your lives, okay? So every player, this for intention purposes is a 2-player game, okay? So you'd have your cube there for your lives, okay, to remind you how many lives you have. When you lose a fight, you'll lose a life. Explain more later. And then you have your health, so you'd have another cube on health, as we can see down here, okay. AP, which is action points, that's how many actions per turn you can take, okay. Certain things require certain action points. So if you move, if you open up a new tile, if you have combat, they're all like 1 action point. There's a special rule where you can call a teammate into the fight, that costs an action point. And some of your other things like if you're like a magic user and you're throwing like a fireball, the individual weapons themselves might have like more action points. It might be, for example, 2 action points to throw a fireball, okay. So again, more apparent as we go along. So that's your action points, and then you notice here like an L shape with red numbers on, okay. And this is basically going to be the strength of your enemy. So what you do is, suppose the enemy says strength 6, we put the little thing on there, like so. We roll for combat. As you take damage off them, we move this down here, okay? Of note, on the number 6, it says take 1 item on a kill. So whenever you kill a monster, you get an item. If he is a strength 10, you take 2 items if you kill him. And the only thing above that, I think, is the dragon, which we see on 20, okay? So to reiterate, we're going into a dungeon. We're going to fight a load of monsters. We're going to find some items. You reveal a magic ring, and then a dragon appears at the end. You fight him, and you escape. That's the aim of the game, okay? So I will come back to this in a minute, guys. I just showing you the card there. Okay. Also included, we have, this is really nice because, as I say, the original idea of the game, what we're playing today, is just to go from A to B. But you have 11 different scrolls. I'm not going to ruin these, okay, but they're all different scenarios that you play, so that's really good if you just get fed up of your normal sort of, you know, monster mash, get in and have a little bit of a doodah. We have a dragon token. The thing you can notice about this game, guys, is that we do not have miniatures. Even our own characters are what's known in gaming terms as meeples, okay. So yeah, that is dragon token. He appears on the board at the very end of the game. I mentioned before, monsters have their own chits, little tokens basically. Again, we don't have any miniatures there. So just look at this here. Basically, we see our enemy is a troll. He rolls 2 dice plus 4 for his damage. He has 10 health. Okay, so we need to beat 10 lots of health out of him to defeat him, get the item, and to move on. Okay, so that's an example of a monster. The game also includes, and this is really nice for you guys who love like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, these little tokens, and as you can see, they're blank, so you could get your monster manual out, be a little bit inspired, and make your own monsters. I thought that was just really, really nice, to be fair. A really, really nice little touch. There's a Ring of Power, unlike little Tolkien book of a certain time ago, okay, which you go in and you have to get. You get the Ring of Power, finish laying all the tiles, a dragon appears, and you get out, okay? And finally, the last interesting tile to really show you is the healing pool. Okay, so what will happen is, like you saw before, you have so many lives, 3 lives per character. You lose a life in a fight. Well, you lose your final life in a fight. The items you have are left on that tile, and you go back to this healing pool, wherever that might be on the board, and you start again from there, okay? So you can always back in the fight as long as you've got like enough lives. As I say, the games I've played, the solo games, I've won 1, lost 1, with a full party of 4, and I have played the 3-player game, and that ended in us getting to the dragon, but unfortunately we all got killed. Okay, we just didn't have enough clever items, range spells, staffs, that kind of thing, to be able to go along. Okay, so in here are our monsters. This is the monster bag, okay, which we draw. These are our items here. Same again, 4 dice, little tokens which will become apparent soon, okay? And I think that is basically all I can do to introduce you. Right, okay, so the way the game would work then, guys, we've got a dwarf who is in blue today, we've got a fighter who is in red. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to start off with a fighter, and her name's Tamara, is going to take one of her action points and she's going to step into the dungeon. So what we do, we move her action points now down to 4, okay? We take a tile off the top of the pile and we place it, okay? So there we go. So that's 1. She has now revealed a monster. So what we do before we get there is we get a little bag, we would pick out a random monster and we would put it face down, okay? So we know we pulled a monster. We don't have to go that, well, we do really, because we need to get to the end of the dungeon, but you know what I mean? You had the choice of saying, well, I want to go there or I don't. Okay, I need to just push that up there. Sorry, I thought I had it in shot to show that we start on little tiles here. Okay, so we've used 1 action point to open that up there. Being a fighter, she's going to take another action point to step in and reveal the monster. Okay, so again, the action point comes down here. And now she's going to use an action to fight. Okay. Well, no, she won't actually, sorry. I think if you actually go into combat, you fight anyway. Right, so our fighter, we see on her card here, she has 2d6 plus 2. So that means 2 dice, okay, plus 2. And we're, just for the fun today, we are fighting, our first monster has come out as a mummy. That rolls 1 dice plus 4, and it has 7 health, okay? So straight away, we're now engaged in battle, so we get our little red marker and we put that on the 7, okay, to indicate the strength of the monster. So what we're going to do, we're going to roll these 2 dice and hopefully do really, really well. Okay, so we rolled 5, 4 and a 1, plus our 2 is 7, okay, so that's our score. So the monster's now rolling, okay, 1 plus 4 is 5, so we rolled 7. The monster rolls 5, the monster loses 2 points of damage, okay? And what you do is you carry on with the round, you keep going until you win or the monster wins, okay? So we're rolling again, hopefully we're going to get a big roll this time. Okay, that's better. 6, 3 is 9, plus our 2 is 11, and the monster rolls, oh, wouldn't you know it, 6 plus 4 is 10, so we win the fight and we take another damage off the monster, so it moves down again, okay? Then we go to another round of combat. Okay, so we roll 3 and 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. I think the monster might win this one. Oh no, 4 plus 1 is 5. So we took 6 plays 5, difference is 1. We take another point off. So what you're doing is the person who wins the fight makes the damage compared to the difference. So I roll 10, you roll 6, the damage is 4. Okay, so we go on to another round of combat. Just need to try and finish this guy off now. Okay, so we roll a 5 and we roll a 4, which is 9, plus 2 is 11. He rolls a 1 plus 5, 4 is 5. So 11 plays 5 is 6 points damage. We well and truly beat him. Okay, so just for fun, we take that token now and we just put that there next to our fighter. So he has bragging rights over who he has defeated. Okay, stick that there. Now, as mentioned, we get an item for defeating the enemy. So we got our item bag. We draw one randomly out. Okay. And it is, rusty armour. Okay. So that gives us -1 damage. 1 fight, 1 use. Now, what I touched on before, on the cards, this is going to be the elf card again, is you notice you've got 2 hand spaces. This can be for a spell or to hold an item. You have an armour and you have boots. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because this is an armour, noted by my finger there and noted by the sign there, you would put it there. Okay, so the fighter has just got himself a suit of rusty armour for his victory. A little bit of bragging rights with defeating the mummy, and he can now carry on his journey. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to use another action point to open up another tile, taken from the top there. Okay, and we see that the tile, these can be rotated anyway as long as the walls match up. So with having everything there, I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, and he is going to use his last action to move onto that square. Okay, guys, so I hope that that's shown you a little bit of how the combat works there. So now we go to our dwarf. Our dwarf has 4 action points denoted here by his little dial. Okay, so he's going to go simply 1, 2. Okay, removing his action points there. He is going to open another tile. Oh, okay, got a monster on there. So we go straight to our monster. Move that there for him opening the tile. Go to our monster. Do we draw out the bag? Okay. We put the monster there. And for his last action, he's going to move on to it and he's going to fight it. Okay. Being a simple dwarf. So now we unveil the monster. And it is a skeleton. Okay, so this is quite a tough one. This is 2 dice. So 2d6 plus 1. Okay, and he has 12 hit points. So we're now in combat. Okay, so what we're going to do, we turn that back there. A little bit of a tougher fight. Sorry, I forgot to mention, guys, these little tokens, what you do is you put over that space there to indicate the fact that you face the monster on that tile. Okay, so you're not going to face another monster on that tile until later on. Okay, so our dwarf has now got into a fight. So his special rules are, he rolls 2 dice and he's +3. Okay, so he's going to roll this dice and see what happens. Okay, so he's rolled 6, plus his 3 is 9. The skeleton rolls 2 dice and adds 1. Okay, that one dice fell. So we'll roll again. Okay, so we got 2 plus 3. Okay, so his damage is 3. I think we said our dwarfs was 6. I totally forgotten with that dice going on there, sorry. Okay, so let's call it 6. Let's call it 3. So that'll be 4 damage, just for his purposes of demonstration. So he was 12. He's now going to go to 8. Okay, so our dwarf managed to win that round. Let's try this again without faffing round, okay? So we're rolling again. So we roll 5, we roll 6. Plus that is 9. Okay. The skeleton's going to roll the same. He rolls 9 plus 1 is 10. So we've lost the fight. Okay. So this is a good point to actually show, because we now lose one of our health moves down there. Okay. And we go back on to the next round. So the dwarf rolls again. Oh my word. 3 plus 3 is 6. The monster rolls. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 7 plus 3 is 4. We roll and we lose the 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're now down to 6. And I know I've completely messed this up, guys, okay? But I'm going to carry on going anyway. So we roll again for the dwarf. He gets 9, plus 3 is 12. Okay, let's just remember 12 here, guys, okay? Get a proper combat on the go. The monster rolls 7, plus is 1 is 8. 12, so that is a difference of 4. So the monster, we now take the monster down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We live to fight another day. Apologies, guys, for this. It's been a long day. Okay, so the dwarf is now going to go. Okay, 7 plus 3 is 10. The monster, 6 plus 1 is 7. 10 minus 7 is 3. 1, 2, 3. He's nearly dead. And one last round. Okay, so we have 7 on our dice plus 3 for his combat is 10. Oh my word, okay, 11, 12. So we actually lose 12 to the monster, 10 to us. So we lose 2 more life. So already we're seeing this skeleton's causing us a great deal of bother because the dwarf is now only left on 4 hit points. And let's see if we can't finish him off, guys. The dwarf rolls 5, plus 3 is 8. He's got 8 plus 9, so we lose 1 more life. Okay, and we need to be doing something about this. This dice roll is terrible for this dwarf. Okay, 6 plus 3 is 9. The skeleton rolls 8 plus 1 is 9, so that's a draw. Hopefully the last round of combat. Dwarf rolls 8 plus 3 is 11. Skeleton rolls 4 plus 1 is 5, so we have killed him. Okay, now he was, if we note on here, remember I said to you that if you have an enemy that's over 10, yeah, then you actually get to draw 2 items when you kill him. Okay, so the dwarf has made really, really hard work of that skeleton, but I'm glad it's happened that way because it just shows how swingy this game really is. And, you know, a few bad dice rolls and you really can get messed up in there. Okay, so he's took his trophy for the skeleton. That was a hard fight, to be fair. And he's going to draw 2 items. So he draws 1 and he draws 2. Okay, see them there. Put the bag back there. And, oh, okay, we have a bow, which you can put in his hands. We need to denote the 2 hands. So that's going to be a 2-handed weapon. Okay. Oh, and we have a steel shield as well. So, now that is interesting. I'm going to have to pick one or the other. Do you know what I'm going to do? I know people are screaming at me. You see, it's going to take 3 action points to use that. People are screaming at me and they're saying, you know, take the bow for some ranged weapon. If I was playing a full game for you, I would. But what I'm going to do is this dwarf is down to like 3 health. So he really does need a shield. So he's going to put that there in his hand. Okay, and he's got a steel shield. And we're going to discard the other item. Okay, off that goes. So that was 1 full turn. So what we'll do, play a couple more turns for you, okay? And hopefully I'll try and remember the numbers, not drop dice, and move along, okay? So what we do is we take our action point scales back up there, and then we'll turn around and ask the fighter to go forward, because obviously the dwarf isn't having too much fun in there, is he? The fighter's got most of his health, all of his health actually. The dwarf, this is where we could really have done with this guy, the healer, okay? But not to worry, we're just having a little bit of fun and it's a demonstration. So the fighter is going to move 1 and he's going to open up a tile. So that's going to be 1 action, 2 actions. Okay, so wouldn't you know, we've drawn a monster. I should have put that little black token across there to indicate the fact of what I said before. We're not going to fight another monster on this until the end, okay? Or possibly the end. So our fighter has used his 2 there. He's opened that. He's done that. He's opened that up, hasn't he? So he's moved 1 there. Yeah. And he's opened that up for 2. He's going to move 3. And he's going to face a monster. Okay, so there he is there. What have we got in the bag? We have... oh, we have a goblin. Okay, so a goblin shouldn't be too much hassle for this big warrior, okay, this big fighter. She is going to go in and she's going to give him a bit of a slap. So we notice he has 1 dice plus 1 and he's only a strength 5. So what we do is we set our strength to 5 on the card here for our enemy and we begin combat. Okay, so our warrior, as a reminder, rolls 2 dice and adds 2. Okay, so he's rolled 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay, the goblin is going to roll 1 dice and add 1. So that's 8 plus 6, 7. Okay, so we beat him in a fight and we take 1 damage off him. All right, so we go to round 2. Our warrior. Okay, 3 dice of, put your own word in there. 3 plus 2 is 5. Our goblin rolls a 4, plus his 1 is 5. So luckily for us, a low roll, but that is a draw. Okay, so we go on with our fighter. He rolls 3, plus his 2 is 5. Goblin rolls 4, plus his 1 is 5. Dice, you couldn't call it, could you? The warrior really needs to just finish this guy off. This is a pathetic little goblin, okay? Oh my word, 5. So 3, 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Goblin rolls 4 plus his 1 is 5. 7 plays 5 is 2 damage. We win the fight, so we take him down to 2 health. And we've got to finish this guy off now, surely to crikey. Yeah, I think we're going to. That's 5 and 4 is 9, plus 2 is 11. He rolls a 5, and a 1 is 6. 11 minus 6 is 5. We have beat this guy, okay? So, 2 things to note here. We're going to get our item in a minute, but this guy was only a strength 5, so he doesn't even qualify for us getting an item because he was so weak. Okay, but we'll take him. Fighters like to, brag about their accomplishments, so we'll take it anyway. Okay, so no item that time, because like I say, that was just that week. It wasn't even deemed by the game to be worthy of us getting an item. Okay, little black mark put on there. And the fighter, we'll note, has 1 action point left, so we're going to use that to open up a tile to see what we're going to get. Okay, we'll get a little bit of respite. Okay, so just move these across here to keep everything in camera. So I hope you're enjoying this, guys, and you've seen how this actually works and stuff. It really is. It's just a nice little game. Okay, so our fighter is now blown out, and it's our dwarf's turn. So he's going to use 1, 2 actions. Okay. And then he's going to... So he's used his 1, 2 action there. He's going to use a 3rd action to open a tile up. Okay, and it's going to reveal a monster. And he's going to stop. Okay, I'm stopping him because he's got literally 3 points of health left. The fighter is on 10. So the fighter is going to come in and he is going to do that. What I didn't do there last time, to be fair, was I had a shield which takes away for 1 fight, 1 use. But I didn't use it. It wasn't really worth it to fight a goblin, was it? As much fun as what that little goblin put up. Okay, so that is the end of that turn. Everybody's action points come back up to max. 4 for the dwarf, 5 for the fighter, and let's get stuck back in. Okay, so what we need to do is the fighter is going to go 1, 2. Okay, and he is going to get into a fight there. So he's used the 5 and 4 there. And we now reveal what our next monster is. Out the bag. It is... Oh, it's a zombie. We've seen them all today, aren't we? Okay. So a zombie, he has 1 dice plus 2, and he has a strength 6. Okay, so we put him there. So remember who we're fighting, clearly. Okay. And let's go for it. Okay, so our warrior is 2 dice plus 2. Oh, my word. He's the worst warrior ever, isn't he? Okay, so... 4 plus 2 is 6. Plays 4 plus 2 is 6. So that is a draw. Okay, so we go into another round of combat. Sorry, what I didn't do is I didn't put the health tracker there on our enemy. Okay, so we go 5 and 2 is 7. Plus our 2 is 9. And for our zombie, he rolls a 5 plus his 2 is 7. Okay, so we won the fight. So 9 plays 7. So we take 2 points of damage off him here, indicated on our little dial there. Okay, just again to show you up close, guys. Okay, so we're moving along there like that. That was on a different card. So combat again. The warrior really needs to start swinging this axe or whatever he's got, man. Seriously, or she's got even. Oh, 3 plus 2 is 5, which is shocking. The zombie rolls 5 plus 2 is 7. So that's 7 plays 5. And we lose 2 points of health. So you can see, even though these baddies aren't that bad yet. I mean, we saw the skeleton with the dwarf when he got really beat up. But I mean, even like something with 6 health can still, you know, you roll low. And, you know, you're going to get in trouble. Okay, so we rolled 7 plus 2 is 9. And we're rolling 1 dice there. 1 plus 2 is 3. That's 6 points. That's more than enough to kill that zombie. Now, because he was on the 6-point mark there, trophy goes over. So you can see we now kill a zombie, a goblin, and a mummy. And we get to draw out of the item bag. And we pull a... What do we get? Oh, we get a loyal bear. Okay. 1d6 to combat roll. Remove on defeat. Uses no inventory space. So we've now managed to find a bear that Tamara, our fighter, is friendly with. So that's really nice because he gives us basically an extra dice. So whoever she meets next is going to be, you know, right up there. Okay. So stick that there just to remind us that she's got that. In fact, no, we won't. We'll put that there, to be fair, so we remember the loyal bear for her. Okay. So she is basically just, she can open up she can open up a tile, another tile, I think. Oh, okay, we have an item, so use that off there. And she's going to move on, and she's going to take the item. Okay, so she's going to draw a health potion. Add 2d6 to health. 1 action point, 1 use. Okay, so she's going to keep hold of that there. So we can see she's got the armour, rusty armour, the health potion, which I do feel she's going to need to give to the dwarf at some point if we were going to carry on. But what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to actually leave it there. I hope I've shown you enough of the mechanics. What would happen is we'd carry on going on until we put all the tiles down, and there's 40 tiles, okay? What would happen then is we'd then take all the tokens off these numbers, and the observant of you had noticed they have numbers M11, 7, 2, 9. What you do then is we're coming into end game. So we get 2 dice, we'd roll them, 2 and 2 is 4, and we'd find the tile with M4. Okay, so let's just say this is M2, but let's just say for fun that's M4. What would happen then? The ring would go on there. We would get a monster, draw it out the bag and put it on there. And then our heroes, wherever they were, would have to get back to that tile. They'd have to fight the monster, defeat him, pick up the ring, and then our dragon would appear at the end tile. You move along, you come up, you beat this bad boy, you escape the dungeon, and that is the game. So with the exception, guys, of a couple of dodgy rolling, dropping a couple of dice, and forgetting the totals at the beginning, I apologise. That is Bag of Dungeon. I really hope you enjoyed this little run through of it. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to go up top, give you some final thoughts, and I'll see you all next time. Hi guys, so welcome back. So hopefully now you know how the game works, you can decide on whether it's for you or not. Personally for me, this works on every single level. You know, I mean, what's not to love? I mean, seriously, everything from the amazing artwork in the box, the rule book works, it's simple, it's easy to pick up, the game's easy to teach. It comes in a really small footprint. It's not that big on the table to actually have to worry about. If it's nice in a bag, so it's great as one of those sort of intro games where you can take it around to your pals, have a couple of beers, lob it on the table. You know, nothing too complicated. You haven't got like a massive setup and a massive takedown and stuff like that. I think this works personally for most people. I think if you got a remote interest in fantasy gaming, dungeon crawl, that kind of thing, this is an absolute must-have. I mean, it may not be for everybody with regards to maybe the fact we have like little meeples, as our characters instead of sort of miniatures. Something you may find in a zombie side, for example. And that may not be too exciting for people. The pulling chits is very random, but hey, why not? It works along with the aesthetic of the game and everything. But some people may not like that. They might like the fact of like having like a miniature instead of a chit to represent that goblin or that troll or that dragon or whatever, But yeah, I mean, for me, it works. It's basic. It does what it says on the box. Plays well. plays great solo. I've played it solo with one character, 2, 3 and 4. I've played it with Melody and Ben in a 3. That worked. This just really works, guys. I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look at it. And you know what? Consider picking this little gem up. If not, thanks for your time anyway, and I'll see you again soon for another board game review.